Hello and welcome to our tutorial on learning how to do mattress stitch. In this tutorial we're going to be learning the mattress stitch, which is one of the most popular methods of seaming because it leaves an invisible seam. So for this you'll need your finished flat knitted piece, and you'll also need a yarn needle. These can either be metal or plastic. So for this we have our piece of flat stockinette knitting that now has to be seamed. So as you can see, I've just folded it in half to have the sides meet. You'll also need a relatively long tail of yarn. If you didn't leave a long enough one when casting off, you can always add a new one. So to start, this is where we finished our cast off edge. We're just going to go into the corner on this side to sort of get that join started. So for this, basically what you're doing is you're picking up the bars in between the stitches. If you stretch out your knitting, you can see that there's a bar in each stitch. So within each V, there's a little bar, and then next to it there's a bar. So we're going to be picking up the bars that are next to the stitches, not the ones inside the stitch, or you won't end up with an invisible seam. So to get started, we're going to pick up that first bar to the next to a stitch, not within it. Can be a bit fiddly to start, but once you get started, it's all good. You're going to pull that across. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So not in the stitch, but next to it. And then you go to the next bar above where that one was. And just make sure your yarn doesn't get caught. And then again you go to the other side and you do the same thing. So after you go back and forth a few times, picking up those bars on either side, your seam will start to look a bit like this. So about every 5 or 6 bars that you pick up, just gently pull on that to bring it together. As you can see, that's starting to look more like a seam, so let's keep going. So we've done a few more, we've done 5 or 6 more, and now it's time to gently pull that yarn again. Don't leave it more than a max of 10 stitches or it might start to get a little bit sticky. So as you can see, that's left a really nice sort of invisible seam. And the seam is on the inside. So this is pretty regularly used for garments or other things that you don't want a seam on the outside and you want it to just look nice and invisible. We hope that helped you learn how to do the mattress stitch.